Well, welcome to part 5 of our series on finding hope when life is fearful. We've been looking at different truths and tips to help us face a world that is full of very real problems without being overcome by fear. And the truth we discussed last time was that peace and hope don't come from our circumstances, but from keeping our eyes fixed on Jesus. And this week's truth is similar, and it's that peace and hope will reign in our lives when we are focused on God's mission for us rather than our problems. Let's think about it this way. If you are out for a walk and you trip and you fall and you cut your knee open, what are you going to do? Well, probably that's the end of the walk, right? You're going to turn around and go home. You're going to wash that knee off and clean it up really good, put a Band-Aid on it, and the whole time you're going to be thinking about how much it hurts and it stings. And your focus is going to be that injury. But now let's think about a different set of circumstances. Imagine you are an athlete and you're playing in a championship game and you fall and you cut your knee open. How will you respond differently? Sure, you'll still get it fixed, you'll wash it off and you'll have someone bandage it up, but your focus won't be the injury, will it? The focus will be getting back in the game because you have a mission. And if you're in pain, you will simply play through the pain. And it will simply be an obstacle, a minor thing to overcome because you have a job to do. You have a mission. Similarly, in our lives, we have a mission. We're to be about God's business. And a person whose primary focus is on their own problems, the hurts they've experienced, the difficulties and stresses in their life, that person is going to feel more and more overwhelmed by those things. In fact, it's been proven that the more self-focused we are, the more miserable we become. On the other hand, those actively pursuing Christ's plan for their life will find greater peace because their focus is on God and others rather than themselves. In Joshua chapter 1, the Israelites are about to cross the Jordan River and begin conquering the promised land. And there are very real obstacles in their way, giants, walled cities, and God gives Joshua this message. He says, "Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land I swore to their forefathers to give them. Be strong and courageous. Be careful to obey all the law my servant Moses gave you." And then in verse 9 he says again, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." They had real reason to be afraid, but they could have courage and face those fears and face those challenges with confidence because God was with them, because they were about God's mission. Now, that doesn't mean that we just ignore our problems or that we simply bury our feelings. That would be unhealthy. What it does mean is that we keep them in perspective. We understand that God is bigger than those things and that we are not the center of the universe. It also means that we approach them from a position of spiritual health. In our physical bodies, we all face illness and disease. But those with a healthy immune system and a stronger body are more likely to successfully fight those diseases, aren't they? In the same way, when we face problems, fears, struggles in our lives, those who are spiritually healthy will overcome and not be defined and sidelined by those problems. And focusing on our mission is a key part of spiritual health. And that's the truth. And so then our tip for today is to focus on others. Help people. That's a big part of our mission in this world, isn't it? To go and love as we would like to be loved, to make a difference in the world, to reach out to those who are hurting, to focus on other people's problems. You see, one person in a dangerous situation may feel fear for their life. But if you've got a child with you, and you're in a dangerous situation, what do? You put your fears aside and you get about the business of saving that child. Why? Because you've got a mission bigger than yourself, and it takes a focus off of you. So look for people who need help. Look for people who could benefit from your encouragement, from your assistance, from your presence in their lives. It might be a family member, it might be a friend. You may need to volunteer somewhere. It may be in your church and you get involved with a ministry, but identify people that you can invest your life in, focus on their needs and their problems and building them up. And guess what? You're going to feel less fear about your own issues because you're not going to be as focused on them. And you're going to experience more peace and hope because you're about God's business. So let's get to work. Let's be on mission.